So are we all ready to get going? Yeah. I think you might have just taken the color off it. So go into your hypershade and just put back on the Lambert. This should bring it back. Okay, so I'm going to create a cube again for the head. Where did I put it? So a cube. Using my, oh, I don't have my, I do. I have lost my, I'm just quickly putting these back. I don't know how I changed file, I think so. I'm just creating a cube in my front view, polygon primitives cube, click and drag and give it a depth. And I'm roughly just making it the width of the head, the character head. Width and height, and then the depth too. So you can even, you can scale it to roughly fit the head like that. And then you're going to go mesh smooth to give it some divisions. And it should end up like that. So we're doing it separately. We're going to kind of do it like the hands and attach it on. Everyone okay with cube? Even if you haven't finished hands or feet or any other parts, just start with the head. Go with us. If your character is a different head, even go with us. Go with this. You can change the design as we're working on it. What I am looking at there is trying to line up my center line with the center of my character, which doesn't seem to be lining up my drawing. Anyway, maybe I'll stay with the drawing actually, because I can always move it.
How many divisions did you put into it?
I didn't put any divisions, no divisions, just a cube, no divisions, and then do mesh smooth. And that's what gives you the divisions. So again, we want to, there's not a whole lot we could do with this. If I right click, go to vertex, maybe stretch it down a little bit, take up the middle bit, and just try and fit it as best I can. There's not really much more I can do to that. So I'm going to have to add a few segments on it. So I need to think about what it is I'm going to be building on this. So I want some eyes. So I want eye sockets. indication of a nose and mouth. So they're the areas I'm looking at. So this is going to be my eye, you know, and then I want one in the middle to indicate nose. So I need to add some edge loops. So I'm going to turn on my symmetry, so I'll only add them on one side. So I'm selecting the head. I can call it head. Symmetry, topology, and double click on the center line. Now have the head selected first, then go to modeling toolkit, symmetry, topology, and double click on the center line. And then I'm going to start inserting a couple of edge loops. So mesh tools, insert edge loops. One going down like this. So a vertical close to the center. And then one other kind of over a bit too. So more like that. So I'm leaving an area for the nose, and then I'm dividing this last big face into two. That's kind of what my thinking is there. I'm going to straighten those two. I've stopped inserting edge loops then, so go back to my arrow or selection tool. So to straighten these up, double click on that one edge loop, go to my scale tool and push. I'm pushing towards the center. Go to the other one and push towards the center. So as I straighten them up, they've kind of, you know, they've flattened the shape a little bit. It's okay, but I might just tweak it a little bit on top here. So I'm going into vertex and pulling it up just to keep that roundy, so I don't have that triangular spike at the top there. And the same on the bottom. Pull them down a little bit. I'm going to hide my body just for now. So Control H hides the object. It turns dark gray in your outliner, and then you have to Shift H to unhide it. So this is the head at the moment. Select the actual object and just type H for hide. So again, there's still not a whole lot. I'm going to start working on the eyes. I'll take a look in the side view. So I still have it. Yeah, it's not bad. You know, make sure it's kind of roughly fitting the size of the head. Now, this is where I see my drawing might be slightly off, because in the side view, the head is a bit low. In the front view, the head is at the right height. So my drawing can determine right or wrong there. I'm going to say the front one is correct, so I'm going to lower the side one. I'm putting it back on reference. So in my side view, I might just select these vertices and pull them back a tiny bit. It doesn't really matter, actually. I'll leave them because it might just confuse things. So in my front view still, I'm going to add one more edge loop. So mesh tool, insert edge loop, and it's horizontal this time. So just through the top face here. So just add one edge loop that goes through. And I'm going to double click on that edge loop, and I'm going to push downward to straighten it. So perspective, it looks like this. that's the extra edge loop I added. So I added this one, and that one. They're the 3 edge loops I added. In my front view then, I'm going to shape this out a little bit. So what I'm after here are these 4 faces. So these are what I want to use for my eye sockets. So they're a bit boxy, so I want to shape them out a little bit. So I'm going to go to edge or vertex. I want to turn on my transform constraint to edge slide. And I'm going to start moving them around a little bit like this.
Wait, which faces do you
It's these 4 that I'm interested in. So I'm now using vertices to kind of shape the vertices around them into, I'll show you now, like this. So this is kind of what I'm after. So this is my eye socket starting. I'll turn off that. This. I'm going to save this so I have a record to go back if I need to. So what I want to do is select these faces. And I'm actually going to delete them. It looks like this. And before I go any further, I'm going to create an eyeball in the center of this so I can use it as a guide. So again, in my front view, create polygon primitive sphere. I'll just click and drag one out here. Radius. The radius I'm using is about 0.36. Now, again, that doesn't have to be exact, but it's probably not a bad size to go with. So I'll just position it around there, check in the side view, because it's probably a million miles away from the front, and drag it over. Somewhat like that. The reason I put the sphere in there now, that's going to be my eyeball, so I'm going to try and shape around that. Before I go anywhere else, I'm going to put the sphere on a layer and call it eye. And make it reference. So now, a layer, yeah, so it's select the actual object and click on that last button there beside layer on your layer. And that'll make a layer and put it on it. And then just double click on the layer name and give it your new name. If I toggle that between, remember, reference, template. So template, I can see it. Reference, I can see it, but I can't pick it up. It turns black too. My mesh is turned black. So it's visible, but I can't touch it. And that's what I want it to be. Yeah, so the eye then is going to be, I'll start doing it. So double click, I'm going to double click the, no, I don't start shaping yet. So I'm going to build the eye socket now. So I'm double clicking the edge loop around the eye. So like that, I just double clicked on that opening where I deleted the faces. I'm going to go to edit mesh, extrude and scale. Oops, I have a slide on, so I need to take that off, my transform constraint. So I'm going to scale down like that. I'll do it and then I'll do it again if you want. And then do it, extrude again. Use my scale tools, scale again. Now it's not looking like it's hitting my eye, but that's okay. And then I'm going to extrude again. This time I'm going to pull it outward. So maybe not quite that much. I obviously need to do a little bit of work or even move my eyeball down a little bit. So I might go back to my layer, select my eye, and just drop it down a tad. Not too much. Like the center of the eye is almost, this, you know, that center of the nose there. Because now what I have to do is start pulling and pushing the vertices of my shape around that eye. I'll just leave my wireframe on. Yeah. So let me see. Just so you can see. I toggle between now 4 goes into wireframe mode. So, you know, if my eyeball is blocking something, I can see the wireframe behind it. So I'm going to start pushing and pulling some constraints here, or some vertices. Pulling that out, pulling that up. So this is quite finicky now, so don't expect to just do a few clicks and it'll work. This is modeling an eye socket, and it is, you know, hard enough to get right. I'll show you what we're trying to do. Head, 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 head. Six, head. So this is how it's going to sit. Look. And that's just using what we had. We extrude 1, 2. I may have added one more edge loop, and I'll do that in a minute. But that's what we're aiming for. And this is how all eyelids are kind of modeled. So we start shaping. So you can use your edge slide. You want to kind of get this going. Oops. So we pull in the lower lid quite close to the eyeball. It doesn't stay kind of sticking out. It takes a little bit of time to get your head around the shape here and what you're doing. So I probably have to pull that one back a bit, that one back a bit, this one back a bit, pulls that one back a bit. And then here in the front, so I'll be toggling the edge slide on and off to get my shape working. I'll be going to wireframe. So I can pull that one. I'll be pushing this side back a bit. If I wanted to go for kind of ovalized eyelids shapes, you know, this is. So when I smooth it, you can see it's starting to take shape a little bit. I might need to pull my eyeball forward. No, it's not too bad actually. I think I need to push this stuff back. Careful when you're pushing your vertices, like keep them on an axis, you know, that you're not pushing them all out of crookedness. They'll all end up very crooked. So if you think like this is my lower lid underneath here, so it's very thin into the eye. Now the eye is still crashing through it a little bit. I have scope to add more edge loops. I'm just trying to get the shape working as best I can with as few vertices as I can because it's easier. If I start adding tons of edge loops in now, it makes it more difficult to work with. So I try get it working with the shape that I have, and then I can always add detail afterwards. So I use a combination of, I'm not always using vertices, I can move my edges if it makes more sense. I can use my vertices when I need to. So I'm toggling between everything. So if I pull my edge out here, so see this is more of an eyelid now. I used edge to pull it out, but I might pull a little bit more on the vertice, pull that one down a bit. So it's starting to, so the goal is to make the eyelid nice and snug around the eyeball. And I know it's crashing into it there, but again, as I said, I can add more vertices if needed, but I get it working as best I can without. Neve, I'm recording this class.
Yeah.
If you want, just if you know.
Yeah, it's just I can't get into Teams at home.
Play it back. Well, I will throw up some things on you. I'll throw it up on YouTube too.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Or just if you want to keep going. I say play along. It is playing along. Um, yeah, you can nudge. Yeah, if your eye isn't in the right place, you can move it down a bit. That's fine. Or kind of put it as a holder. So, you know, the sockets kind of blend all the way around the side of your head too. So they're not just suctioned into the front of your head. So we kind of try and blend it back a bit there. You know, so the top of the head. Now I know we don't have much resolution there to work with, but you don't think of it as a totally separate piece. How does it blend in with the side? How does it blend in with the nose area? How does it blend in with the mouth area? You know, so you're kind of looking at it as a holistic shape too. Because it's on the layer, remember you made it on reference? So take the R off this. Yeah. So now when I smooth, so see the way it's starting to take shape. I'm going to move that kind of pointy forehead. It looks a bit weird, so I'm just going to take that down a little bit. So in the side view there where I, pull the eyelid down over the eye, it's not going to curve around the eyeball because there's no resolution there to curve with. So I am a bit stumped. I'll probably have to add an edge loop there to make that start to look a little bit more like a shape I want. So we'll do that now. Oops. Looking at the edge. So if I wanted to add an edge loop just kind of around on the eyelid there, so it might fit a bit better. So I'm going to go edit mesh or mesh tools, insert edge loop, and just pick on one of the edges going around. So it should loop all the way around the eyelid from top to bottom, and that's what I want. So just one eye edge there and let go. And now I have more resolution to work with. So if I go into my wireframe mode, I can get to these vertices and pull them upward, pulling between wireframe and not. They're now giving me a little bit more to work with. So keep toggling smooth to non-smooth and see how it's working. You can do slight adjustments in smooth it, but I wouldn't do too much because you want it to work in non-smooth as well.
Yeah, so you have to essentially turn off them.
Have we had a crash? Uh-oh. Okay, save, everybody save regularly. They're starting to crash. One on either side of the nose. Yeah, I'll see if I can save as 2. So these were the ones I put in, this one, and this one. So 2 down and 1 across. I have some videos, I'll put them on YouTube. I think I might have some there, I'll just see. I have bits of the classes, so that will appear back in, on the chat or on the Teams. YouTube. My videos.
So if you put it all around, you need the bottom lid.
Yeah, well, the bottom lid is very close to it. Yeah, so when you insert an edge loop, any edge loop you put in now should circle the eye fully. So the bottom lid ends up like this. So it's all part of the same. That's the lid there, and the bottom one you just push in really skinny.
A little bit confused on what I have and how.
On the which?
On how to get the counterpoint.
Oh yeah. I'm afraid there ain't no magic. It is, yeah, I'll come and have a look, but it is tricky enough. So don't, if you start and it's messed up, you may need to start again. I'll just do a little bit more of this, then I'll come around. So once I kind of get my shape working, now don't add multiple edge loops until your shape is working as best you can. Because the more you add, the more you have to fix. So mine is fitting kind of like this. So it's not too bad. It's not snug, but not too bad. You can see the top lid is quite snug into the eyeball. This one could probably be pulled out a bit. I think this one could probably go in a bit. I can afford to probably add 1 or 2 edge loops. You know, once I get my shape working, I can insert an edge loop. So say here, so it's very hard to kind of get it rounding around the bottom of the eye there because I only have one large edge there and probably there. So as I said, don't add these until you're ready to, but you know, you can eventually add more edge loops and then you do more tweaking. And then I could probably pull this one. And then eventually, you know, I could insert more there, another one there. So I could end up with quite a high mesh, high res, but I want to stay in control and I don't want to start throwing them in willy-nilly anywhere because, as I said, any changes I make, I have too many then to work with. But you see, that's kind of the goal, is to end up with the eyelid down over the eye at the front and the lower lid at the bottom, not maybe stuck in like that. So when I add edge loops, I still have to tweak. I'm not liking how that lid is, see the way it's sitting up there a little bit on my eye. So I'll bring it down. Bring it down. Now it's nice and smooth there. So I'll just take out some of those extra edge loops I added in because let me confuse things. Enough for now. I remember I said to spread things to make the, oh, I didn't have symmetry on. Doesn't matter, I'll have to redo the, you know, spread out the faces. So you want all faces to be of similar size. I don't want very large faces and then really tiny ones beside it. So as best I can, keep them. Spread. Fine.